What's going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it's time to review Dragon Ball Super Episode 31. So I guess my Assassination Classroom reviews are done. Yeah, like I said in the actual video, I'd pay attention to the views and whether people wanted to actually see me review Assassination Classroom, and I kind of figured since I'd be uploading them like 6 weeks late compared to the Japanese version that they wouldn't get much traffic from a YouTube search, and I wasn't too sure how my subscribers would feel about it. It got barely any views. It's clearly something you guys aren't really interested in, so I won't review it. Like I said, I kind of figured that might happen, so it doesn't, like, upset me or anything. It's just, you know, like a failed TV pilot, basically. Just want to throw a little bit of variety on the channel, but honestly, it is less work for me if I don't have to review it on whatever day it comes out and I just watch it. But anyways, Dragon Ball Super. This episode of Dragon Ball Super was pretty good. The first time I watched it last night, it had fucking atrocious garbage subtitles that called, like, Jocko fucking Patrolman of the Milky Way, and they said stuff like the Beerus, but then later in the episode they called him, like, the Bills. And then there was a moment where Bulma said LOL, like the subtitles literally said LOL. It was all over the place. It was terrible. The subtitles were garbage. I don't know how a franchise this popular doesn't have people. I mean, it does have people subtitling it with good quality, because luckily this morning the subtitles were better, but it's crazy that, like, I mean, I guess those were probably a rush job or something. Like, I literally thought they threw it in Google Translate or some weird shit like that, but like, how do you not know he's a galactic patrolman? Even if you can translate the Japanese word to Milky Way or galactic, you should know that he is called the Galactic Patrolman on, like, all his manga, whatever. This episode, though, with better subtitles, was much more enjoyable. So we get Jocko, he comes down, and basically he's like, no, we can't go to the center of the universe, and that's kind of obvious. It'd be a pretty tough task to pull off. But then they go to see this guy whose planet straight up looks like it was lifted out of Super Mario Galaxy. Like, flat out, I saw that planet, and my first thought was, that'd be a fun Super Mario Galaxy level. Not the environment itself, but like the full shot of the planet. It looks very much like a Super Mario Galaxy planet, so that was very funny. Not because it was supposed to be, but just because I've played Super Mario Galaxy. Fun fact about Super Mario Galaxy, total digression, but fuck it. Fun fact about Super Mario Galaxy, there's a level in either the first or second game where you can see a straw hat that looks like Luffy's in a level. That was cool. I took a picture of it and put it on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, petplatypus. No, we'll get to that later. But rambling and joking aside, the planet was pretty nicely designed. It had like this Shaolin temple look going on, but then it had escalators, which was very funny. So they show up there, and there's this criminal guy, which I don't remember this from the manga, but it was actually a pretty cool scene. He's kind of like, do I get my fucking questions? This patrolman's here. I'll just kind of pretend he just kind of walks away and whistles, like he doesn't whistle, but he kind of just walks away like, yeah, it's cool, I'm nobody, forget about it. And Jocko's like, nah, I'll take this guy down and take his spot. Because he had to wait like 7 years or some bullshit. So, yeah, Jocko takes him down a pretty cool action scene, measures the distance between them and all that. That was pretty badass. Strikes his classic pose. Animation was pretty solid. So, they get their questions, and literally any question you ask is going to take up one of your questions that you get. So, basically, we get the Wikipedia page on Dragon Balls. He just spits it all out. They start speeding up the dialogue. They speed up Bulma writing down the notes. It was pretty funny. And just as a side note, real quick, before I get into like the main meat of like what he says about it, like the comedy between Jocko and Bulma was very, very funny. I'll get into that a little bit more later, but I just wanted to mention it real quick because what he ends up saying is the meat of it. The important thing that we pretty much didn't already know was. Well, we found out who made it, for one, but that's not super important. The most important thing is there's 7 of them in total between the two universes. There's not 14 of them, there's just 7. And they basically figure, oh, well, that means Champa's been going into Universe 7 and taking ours and going over to his universe with them. Well, now they're in, neutral space, which I don't know what that means, but yeah, so interesting to note that that's the case. It makes things a lot simpler. We don't have to go on a hunt for... Could you imagine 14 of these fucking things? I'm kind of glad there's only 7 in total. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think... Yeah, there wasn't... I guess I'll get into the technicals and, like, what I really liked about this episode. From a technical aspect, the animation was fine. The art seemed pretty on model, and the Jocko scene was pretty well animated, and him flying a ship really fast to scare Bulma was also well animated. So overall, it was a good it was good from an animation standpoint. The sound design was really, really good. I like the music. Whoever does the music for this series really captures Dragon Ball. The only song I kind of had a problem with was the one where Bulma at the end gives Jocko the milk and cheese. It just kind of sounded like something out of Pokemon. And I don't want to like get skewered by Pokemon fans who might watch this video, but I'm sorry, Pokemon does not have the most memorable music. And yeah, I'm including even the old games. I think a lot of the old songs are memorable only because, well, except for like, because Lavender Town's pretty legitimately creepy, but other than that one, I think it's nostalgia that makes those really memorable songs. So yeah, there's that. Don't hate me. I just think the town music and shit in Pokemon's very, very unmemorable and very, very basic. And that's why that song kind of just stood out to me as kind of like, really, that's what you composed for like an actual TV anime. But it wasn't like awful or anything. It's more of a nitpick. And yeah, will I regret jabbing Pokemon like that? I don't know, maybe. It depends on who watches the video. But I mean, I won't literally regret it. I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. But yeah, I'm trying to just find things to talk about. I'm rambling a lot in this review because, like I said, there's really not a lot going on as far as plot goes. That's the big technical aspect of the episode that's not very good, is that there's not a lot of story progression or character development or anything. It was cool seeing, you know, Jocko and Bulma interact. It was nice to see that flashback, which I think was Jocko the Galactic Patrolman manga actually being animated for the first time, which was pretty cool. I forget if that scene is in the manga, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see it animated. So yeah, I have nothing else to really say about this one. From a technical aspect, everything but the story progression was actually pretty on point. The pacing was good, the animation was pretty solid, and the sound design was really good. So there's really, like, not much else to say. I mean, like I said, you know, you get that information, you get a little bit of universe building by introducing this Zuno guy who knows everything, and the method of, like, giving him an offering was very funny, and of course Bulma trying to hit on him, classic Bulma, funny. The line with Goku and Vegeta where they say they like their wives because, you know, weak women, you know, they aren't made for Saiyans, which I think is, there's some logic to that, I suppose. It's kind of interesting. Piccolo's reaction was great, too. But yeah, in the preview for the next episode, I'm a little worried because the stuff with Vegeta and Goku, the animation looked pretty damn good when they were sparring, but the art, man, they really, I don't know what they're doing with the fight scenes. I mean, they didn't look totally garbage or anything. They looked pretty on model, at least in the preview, but where is, like, the top tier animators? Like, it feels like Super is being rushed. Like, it feels like they're producing these episodes in a very small amount of time. That's the only reason I could think of that they would have to look like this, because animation takes a long time. Shit like Adventure Time, if you've seen that, like, just look up pictures or just look up clips of its animation if you haven't seen the show. I do recommend the show, by the way. It takes like 9 months to make an episode, and they're only 11 minutes long, and you look at the art style, you know, with anime, they rush this shit, and it's commendable that they turn out as good as they do, being rushed way more than an American cartoon, but with Dragon Ball Super, it's like backfiring, because the art just goes so south when they get into these big fight scenes, but we'll see what happens. It might be just that one scene from the trailer. It might even be good, you know. It might just be, oh, it's a little sloppy around the edges, but they're on model, you know, because that's what it looked like in the preview. They looked pretty on model, and they looked okay. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Definitely more on model than when those animators were doing fucking Frieza versus Goku in the Resurrection F. That was just ridiculous, some of that shit. I mean, I know they're in-between frames, but when the in-between frames look like the key frames, that's a huge problem. Anyways, this review's long enough. I just wanted to talk about the preview because the animation kind of worries me a bit, but we'll see next week. And, yeah, I'll probably be doing my 7 Deadly Sins review later today if the chapter's out, so look forward to that. And, yeah, I just hope YouTube doesn't bury one of these 2 videos that I'm putting out today, because that's why I kind of like to just do one a day until I have a bigger subscriber base. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Oh, I didn't give it a rating. Retract that. It's like a 7. They had like a 6.8 to a 7. The lack of story progression is pretty big. I feel like even though the last one had so many flashbacks, there was still pretty good story progression since they got 2 members of the team. You know, they got 2 members ready, and you know, Beerus and Whis had those conversations with each other. You know, it just was a little bit more going on, even though the flashbacks were there, so that's kind of weird. But this episode was still very, very funny. Oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to mention, is that when Bulma, like when Jocko takes shots at her, like, age, and Bulma's all angry and smacks him around, I like it. I don't know why with Bulma I'm fine with it. I think it's because Bulma's like the original, so it feels very genuine. It doesn't feel like, oh, it's just the generic tsundere chick who smacks people around. You know, it's Bulma. She is the original. It's not annoying when she does it, because she's for one, she's a really likable character who has a lot more going on for her than a lot of tsundere characters. But on top of that, she's the original. You can't call generic. She is the, you know, progenitor. She is the prototype for that kind of character, and I think she's still one of the better ones. But anyways, that was just another interesting point I wanted to mention. But now, thanks for watching this video. Tell me what you guys thought of this episode of Dragon Ball Super in the comment section below. You can follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can rate this video, give me a thumbs up, would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.